Hello, and welcome back to the podcast where you are invited for lighthearted conversations about things that matter as you seek to live your most meaningful, beautiful, and joyful life. I'm your host, Dr. Edie Wadsworth, and I hope you enjoy your stay here at the House of Joy. Well, hi, dear ones. Welcome back to House of Joy, episode 303. So happy to be with you today. You guys, I am getting ready to leave for like 3 weeks. I'm so excited about it. I'm headed to the Young Living Convention. I love this time every year. After I leave that convention, I'm headed to our lake house, to our little lake house cabin in Minnesota, which has been being remodeled because of water damage. So it's a full and crazy week. I'm about to make a big batch of green juice before heading to Salt Lake City, where I will be surrounded by my crunchy sisters. You guys, I feel like when I go to this convention, it's just like I'm so totally with my people who get me. We'll be talking Ningxia Red and mineral essence. There will be diffusers in every hotel room, and all of the conversations about liver health and gut health and hormones, all of that, probably before 7 a.m. So I'm really, really excited. And you know what? I love all of the natural health hacks that I have learned since I've been doing Young Living. So many. I mean, if you could see my house now, I'm into all of it. The cold plunges, the magnesium baths, the superfood powders that taste like grass. I've got my red light panel. I mean, so many things. Give me all of it. But what I want to talk to you about today, it really reminds me of this, that none of those other things matter if I am waking up emotionally every day, agreeing to a life of stress, shame, scarcity, disappointment, sadness, resentment. And as important as all of those things are, several of the books that I've read in the past couple of years, including Peter Attia's book, Outlive, talk about this, that really the piece that matters is your emotional wellness. So today we're going to talk about something really powerful called emotional agreement. So if I've actually never really talked about it quite like this before. So I'm really excited. And this is part of what I think will be a 3-part series about the agreements that will activate your most magical life. So today we're going to talk about emotional agreements that we make and why this is so important, because how we live out our lives, the actual embodiment of how we live out our lives, is really, really powerful. And it starts with this emotional agreement. This is about choosing on purpose to live in sync with the woman that God created you to be. So I want to start out with this quote, which I love. You don't see the world as it is. You see the world as you are. And I think that is the perfect setup to what we're diving into, which is emotional agreement. And I do think that this is the secret to true alignment in your life, in your leadership, in your purpose, in your energy. The way you're feeling, your emotional state, is the most powerful signal that your body sends you about what you're believing. So your brain isn't just interpreting your emotions. Your brain is agreeing with your emotions and going out into the world collecting proof that they're true. So here's a case in point. I have had an incredible, full, amazing week, but I woke up one morning this week and I just felt off. I just felt heavy, and I was like, that's weird because I've had such a great week. And I just felt, have you ever done that where you just wake up and you kind of out of the blue just feel something off? And I realized that it was stemming from a comment that I had gotten on one of my posts. And I had just let that take root in my heart a little bit. And it was making me feel down. It was making me like, you know how you get defensive, you want to explain yourself or whatever. It was making me feel heavy. And I'm so glad that I took the time to figure it out, to kind of sort out, oh, I'm feeling off. Let me try to sort out why. Because otherwise, when we wake up and we feel a certain kind of way, we're not usually, or at least in my past, I was not taking the time to do that. And that negative emotion that I just came into the day with would start running my life with, because if you wake up and for some reason you feel overwhelmed and you start agreeing with the overwhelm, your brain will keep offering you, well, here's 10 other things to be overwhelmed about. Here's why else you should be overwhelmed. And pretty soon, those emotional patterns become not just patterns that you're running on a daily basis, but kind of your personality. And so we are going to talk about over the next few episodes, a few of these solo episodes, all the unseen and powerful ways that your body, your mind, and your spirit are agreeing with something. Probably for most of us, many of us, agreeing with a life you don't actually want to keep creating, or agreeing with the future that you've been promised by God, agreeing with, it's kind of like that stance of faith, agreeing with Him about your future, which is heaven, by the way. And so we're going to talk about these agreements. And today we're going to kind of focus on the emotional agreements that you are making. And I'll show you how your body and brain are working together to find agreement with your current emotional state. So if you currently ask yourself, what am I currently feeling today or, in the last little bit? Am I feeling overwhelmed? Am I feeling a little sad? Am I feeling a little disappointed? Like, what's my emotional state? And what's the agreement that I'm making? Am I agreeing? Because the negative emotions themselves aren't bad. It's when we make agreements with them and decide to stay in them and decide to let our brains just go on a rampage and find all of the reasons why this emotional state is true, why you should be overwhelmed, why you should be resentful. And that even if we are agreeing with an emotional state that we don't love, like anxiety or shame or disconnection or despair, that we get to choose something different, something better, something higher, something truer, something more beautiful. And you can live in agreement with the life you're creating that you want to create and not just the life that you just keep reacting to. So I want to talk about a little bit of the science first. The science shows that your brain is always looking for coherence. It wants your beliefs, your emotions, your reality, the actions that you're taking. Your brain kind of wants all of those things to line up, to align. And so when you're in a negative emotional state, again, this is not having like, a negative emotion or two. It's like when you've agreed to be in this emotional state, your brain is scanning your environment for reasons to justify it. So if you're feeling rejected, all you look for is rejection. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you spot every problem that could be adding to the overwhelm. It's called the reticular activating system in your brain. And it's kind of like, how when you get a car and you feel like you've never seen this exact car on the road before, then you get that car and then you're like, oh, actually, they're all over the place because now your brain that it sees this car, now it starts looking for it everywhere. So what are you telling your brain to look for? Are you telling it to look for more overwhelm, for more anxiety, for more disappointment? Because it will find it in spades. It will find a million reasons for you to feel that way. And so then you begin living in emotional agreement with fear or pain or lack or limitation or whatever it is. So it's kind of like when your body and your mind come into a subconscious agreement or alignment with an emotional state, and then your brain goes to work filtering the world to match that emotion. So if your nervous system says, I feel anxious, your mind will respond with, well, here's why you should be feeling anxious. Here's everything that could go wrong. And it kind of piles on. And so we were designed by God to agree with Him about His truth about us, what He created us for. And so we have both of these parts of our brain, our sort of subconscious brain that kind of runs on autopilot, and this part of ourselves, our true self that I talk about all the time, enlivened by God's Spirit, made in His image, made to live in unconditional love and in harmony with His truth. And so these two parts of ourselves are kind of always, at war a little bit with each other. And it's so easy for us to get pulled into fear, shame, lack, disconnection, and all of that. And sometimes I like to think of it as like wearing a pair of glasses. So I used to have this pair of glasses. I loved them. They broke, but I did love them. And it looked like they were kind of yellow tinted. It reminded me of like the Beatles. And when I would wear those glasses, you guys, they were just reading glasses. But when I would wear those glasses, the world felt like sunshine. It was like the most beautiful yellow light would filter through. And those glasses kind of would, in a weird kind of way, like set the mood a little bit. I mean, I would just instantly feel better when I would put those glasses on. So you can think of this emotional state, this sort of mind body state that you're in, like wearing tinted glasses. So when you're emotionally agreeing with frustration, you're wearing your frustration glasses. You're seeing the world through frustration. Everything, when you see it through that lens, is a little bit more irritating. When you are in emotional agreement with peace, it's like putting on different glasses and you start to notice beauty, ease, connection. So the goal is not that you don't ever have these hard emotions. The goal is to recognize when you've started agreeing with them as this is the way life is. And then to gently shift back into what's really true. And here's what's really true. God loves you. You are his beloved. Everything will somehow work out for his good. He can be trusted. He has given us everything we need. We are so supported. We are empowered by grace to choose even a new lens through which to see the world. Like if you think about that, we literally have everything we need. And even when things are hard and challenging, and when things in the world feel hard and challenging, we can still trust him. He is a good father and he is taking care of us. So, what is the emotional state that you are agreeing with? Have you ever done like I did this week where you woke up feeling kind of off or maybe feeling heavy? Maybe your emotions were just really low. And then suddenly you notice that everything makes you irritated or everything feels sad. The coffee doesn't taste right. Your spouse is irritating you. You can't find anything that fits or anything to wear. It feels like everything in the world is wrong. And you have to ask yourself, like, oh, am I wearing a certain glasses? Am I seeing the world through this emotional agreement that I've made? So your brain is going to do this either way. Your brain is going to find proof for why you should feel all those negative things, or your brain is going to find proof for there are miracles everywhere and I'm so supported. Like if you just practice the thought, I am so supported, and you looked at the world through that lens, what is going to be amazing to you is how much you start seeing all the support that you have. And if your thought is just the opposite, you will see that too. Again, kind of like the quote at the first, we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are, or we see the world through the lenses that we're looking through. And it's not just that we're feeling these feelings. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling anxious. It's that we are agreeing with the overwhelm. And our minds and bodies are building a world to match it. So, what hard emotions are you making quiet agreements with? Are you agreeing with disappointment, with shame, with resentment? And I will tell you something, you cannot create a beautiful, magical life from an emotional state of resentment, shame, disappointment, overwhelm, dread. These emotional agreements shape everything from what we choose for breakfast, to how we speak to our kids, to how we talk to our own selves in the mirror, to, how we show up at work, how we interact with people online. And this is a human thing. So it's not as if, again, that we're trying to be kind of Pollyanna and pretend like we don't have hard things. It's that we don't let that become the lens through which we see the world. The key is learning to recognize the agreements that we've made and choose a new one. So a few things that can help us with this is when you feel like your brain is trying to make an agreement with an emotion that you don't love. Oh, I'm feeling a little frustrated right now. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed right now. I'm feeling a little resentful right now. Name the emotion. Name it. Sometimes just giving it a name you will start to see like, oh, I see. My brain is offering me this. And I can either make an agreement with it or not. And sometimes, like the other morning when I was feeling this, I just took a pause. So I actually went outside of my porch. You can go outside. You can find yourself, a calm place, take some deep breaths, do a little journaling, go for a walk, whatever you can do to give yourself a pause. Like, oh, I don't want to operate my whole day from this agreement that I'm making with overwhelm or whatever. And sometimes if you ask yourself, what is the agreement that I want to make instead? Do I want to run my whole day on disappointment? Do I want to run my whole day in shame? No. What do I want to agree with? Do I want to make an agreement with joy, with love, with gratitude? This can help us really put on, a different pair of glasses and see things differently. And if you think about it, really, none of us are stuck in these patterns. We are just temporarily in agreement with something that we didn't even subconsciously or consciously choose most of the time. And can we instead agree with God? You can agree with your pain. You can agree with your past. You can agree with your subconscious programming, or you can agree with what God says about you, that you are his chosen, that you are his beloved, that you are called to lead, that you are seated already in heavenly places, that you carry the kingdom of God with you wherever you go. So when we agree with him, we realize the mission that we're on. We realize the importance of this work, way more important than the green juice we're drinking, or as much as I love all of my supplements and my minerals, way more important than that, you guys. So much more important for our health than we think. So when you're feeling off track, when you're feeling like you're getting back into some old patterns, when you're feeling like, oh, I just wake up and feel off, take a pause. Figure out what the emotion is and ask yourself, do I want to make an agreement with that today? I promise you, you probably don't. And once you understand that these emotional agreements are real and they are affecting us, they are affecting everything in our lives, that our minds and our bodies are working together to create coherence, then whatever you emotionally agree with, you create more of. So, do I want to create more of a life of resentment? Do I want to create more of a life of overwhelm? Do I want to create more of a life of despair? Do I want to create more of a life of anxiety? No, I don't. But your emotions are what is fueling your focus, your behavior, your perceptions of the world. Your brain is always trying to build a world that matches what you feel. So when you agree with fear, your thoughts become very fear-based, very cautious. Your actions become smaller. Your vision of your life contracts. Your nervous system becomes hypervigilant. When you agree with faith, joy, love, your brain starts scanning for all the places that you find those things. You start taking bolder action, maybe. You live with a different energy in the world. And the world responds to you. And this is how you begin to really co create your life. And so ask yourself, what am I agreeing with? And what do I want to be making agreements with in my life? So maybe you have a vision for your life, whether it's becoming your healthiest self, whether it's maybe building a business or improving your marriage or creating truer connections with your kids. Ask yourself, what emotional state would my future self who has those results, what would the emotional state be that she's living in? What is she agreeing with on a daily basis? Does she agree with overwhelm and self-doubt and chaos and discouragement? Or does she agree with faith and joy and love and clarity and focus? So your job today is not necessarily to achieve that result of the thing you want. Your job today is to emotionally agree with the woman who has what you already want. Because when you do, your brain, your body, your habits, and your energy get to work creating that. So God gave us this ability to renew our minds, align with his truth, and to create from that place. We are image bearers. We are creators. We are co-laborers with him. And when we emotionally agree with heaven, we open the floodgates to so much. to miracles, to creativity, to a life we actually really love living. So, I'm asking you today to evaluate what agreements that you've made. And next in the series, we're going to talk about miracle mindset. And that's one of my favorite things to talk about too. But I hope this has been helpful for you today. I do want you to know that if this is something that you want to go further with, I am doing a brand new thing that I've never done before called Most Magical 90. It's not a course, it's a behind the scenes experience with me in a Facebook group as I do this, as I make the emotional agreements that I want to make to create the life I want to create my most magical 90 days. Not through pressure, but through powerful agreements. So if you want to join us, I'll put the link to that group in the show notes. We would love to have you there. I cannot wait. We've already had, I don't know, 150 or so people join us. It's an amazing group already. The women in that group are already getting some powerful breakthroughs from just watching me behind the scenes do mine. So this is not about just watching me create my most magical 90 days. This is about you stepping into it for yourself, choosing something higher, choosing something truer, creating powerful agreements that help you create the life you want. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.